Alright guys, it is Shaun Jones prediction time. We've got Tyson Fury fighting Alexander Usyk tomorrow, this weekend. And this is one of the hardest fights in recent history to predict, in my opinion. But in this video, we are going to give a deep dive analysis and a conclusive prediction of who I believe has the best chance of winning this fight. And I'll emphasize that I'm going to be talking about who has the best chance of winning this fight. What has the highest probability of happening? Now, rather than just going with emotion and saying Tyson Fury's going to win or Usyk's going to win, why? Because I'm a fan and he's the best in the world. I want to try and keep it as logical as possible and use numbers to drive the decision. Because in all honesty, guys, I have no clue who was going to win this fight. And it's taken me up until Friday and then loads of research to finally come to me prediction. And I could still be wrong. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to do a points system. Now, this system might be a little bit flawed. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. But we're going to go through stuff like the fighters' records, their experience, the physicality difference, so on, so forth. All these different attributes that are then going to give us a better idea of who has got the most advantages coming into this fight. Right, I've got my notes in front of me, so you know what I'm looking at. Let's jump right into it. First, let's talk about the fighters' records and their experience. Tyson Fury, he's got an amateur record of 34 wins and 4 losses. He's got a pro record of 34 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw. So that makes for a combined 70 total fights that Tyson Fury has had across his amateur and pro record. Next, we have Usyk, who's had an amateur record of 335 wins and 15 losses. He's got a pro record of 21 wins and 0 losses. So that makes for a combined total of 371 fights. So Usyk comes out on top there. He's had 301 more fights than Tyson Fury. So 1 point to Usyk, 0 to Tyson so far. Next, let's talk about physicality, so the size difference. Tyson Fury is coming in at a build 6'9". He's got an 85-inch reach and he weighs 19 stone, 8 pounds. For my American audience, that's around 274 pounds. Usyk is 6'3" with a 78-inch reach and he weighs 15 stone, 10 pounds, which for my American audience is 220 pounds. So Tyson Fury clearly has the physicality advantage here, although one little caveat is the bigger man will only win if the skill is equal. And I don't think size is going to matter as much in this fight just because of how good Usyk is. Now, if Tyson Fury was as much of a skilled boxer as Usyk is, which, by the way, some people truly believe that, but I think if you look at Usyk's body of work, and I haven't even watched it all, but I've watched a good few fights, you can clearly see in terms of technical ability, Usyk is levels above, and that's usually the case for cruiserweights. The lighter weight classes are usually more skilled boxers. Tyson Fury is a bit of an anomaly for heavyweight. However, if you was to downsize Tyson Fury to a cruiserweight, he would be vastly underskilled. Maybe not vastly underskilled, but he wouldn't seem as skilled. It's the same in the UFC as well. The heavyweights typically aren't as skilled as the lighter weight classes. That's just the way it is, because when you have a bigger body, your technique is not going to be as sharp as someone who's carrying around half the weight of you. So although we'll give the physicality advantage to Tyson Fury here, he's got a 7-inch reach advantage and a 6-inch height advantage, and then pretty much a 4-stone weight advantage. But Usyk is extremely good. Usyk is also going to be more used to fighting bigger people, more so than Tyson Fury is fighting smaller people. Of course, pretty much everyone is smaller than Tyson Fury, but with Usyk only being 6'3", and I say only like as if that's small, Usyk is more used to fighting bigger people because he's a relatively small heavyweight. However, let's put a point on the board for Tyson Fury with that physicality and size advantage. It's 1-1 going into round 3. Let's talk about the stance of both fighters because this matters. Tyson Fury is an orthodox fighter. For anyone who is new to fighting, first off, welcome to the Shaun Jones fighting channel. Orthodox is left foot forward, southpaw is right foot forward. Usyk is a southpaw. Now, typically, the majority of boxers, fighters in general, are orthodox, so left foot forward, meaning that even when you're on the build up to a fight, when you're preparing, the majority of the people you're going to be sparring are going to be orthodox. It's going to be a lot harder to find an extremely skilled southpaw fighter than it is to find an extremely skilled orthodox fighter. Just because it's a numbers game, there's less southpaw fighters. So think about it logically. Because Usyk is a southpaw, he's going to be a lot more accustomed to fighting orthodox fighters than Tyson Fury is fighting southpaw fighters. The last time Tyson Fury fought a southpaw fighter, I think it was against Otto Wallen, and he got a really bad cut in that fight. So typically, when it comes to who has got the advantage between the right-handed fighter and the left-handed fighter, it's going to be the left-handed fighter just because there is less of them to spar with. So we'll put another point on the board for USYK. It's 2 advantages to 1 for USYK. Next, let's talk about knockouts. Who has got the most knockouts? First off, when we take a look at the records, we've got Tyson with 24 knockouts out of 34 wins. And then we've got USYK with 14 knockouts out of 21 wins. So it's very easy to say Tyson Fury's got more knockouts, therefore he takes the win here. And yeah, that is true, but it doesn't show the whole picture. USYK's got over 300 amateur fights as well. I couldn't find how many knockouts he'd had in his amateur career, but USYK has got that experience anyway. That's why we look at the knockout percentage. So Tyson Fury has got a 70% knockout rate. USYK has got a 66% knockout rate. However, Tyson Fury being at a 70% knockout rate, we will give the point to him. It's 2-2 on the board. Next, I believe this is an important one. Let's talk about knockdowns. Who has been knocked down the most in their fights? So who's getting dropped the most, basically? Who is easiest to hit? Well, in the professional career, that's all we can really go by here. But Tyson has been knocked down 7 times. USYK has been knocked down 2 definitive times. There's videos on YouTube showing a few more occasions where USYK was hit. There was one other time where he got knocked down, but it wasn't really a knockdown. It was just a slip. He didn't even get clipped with a punch. He just slipped over as he threw a punch. So Tyson Fury's been knocked down 7 times. USYK's only been knocked down twice. So really, when you look at the facts, Tyson Fury has come closer to losing more times than USYK has. So he's shown that he's a little bit more vulnerable than USYK. And I've seen a few people talking about how that shouldn't really matter, because what does matter is the fact that Tyson gets up every single time and he's got that heart and grit and determination. Don't worry, my friends, because we're going to talk about heart, grit and determination in a minute. We're just talking about the pure numbers, the facts and figures. So let's look at the recent history of Tyson Fury. He got dropped in the first Wilder fight. He was winning that fight pretty definitively, but then almost got KO'd absolutely stiff. Some people do say that the referee was counting a little bit slow as well. One thing I will say to that is that it's not meant to be a 10-second count. It's just meant to be a 10 count. But regardless, Tyson Fury got knocked down and almost KO'd completely in that first Wilder fight. And then he got dropped twice in the 3rd rematch against Wilder. There was a few dicey moments in that fight, to be fair. And then obviously, as I mentioned before, he got really badly cut in the Otto Wallen fight. That cut reminded me of the Nate Diaz cut when he fought Jorge Masvidal. The referee stopped it for Nate Diaz. And I know this is MMA versus boxing, but that fight could have been easily stopped for Tyson Fury with that cut. And I know getting cut, it's not really in your control. You can get hit with a shot that barely hurts you and glances you and opens up a crazy cut. So I'm not putting too much weight into that cut. My point being is that he was close to getting stopped in that fight via a referee stoppage. And then obviously we all remember Tyson Fury getting knocked down in the Francis Ngannou fight. That should not have happened. Tyson Fury is too good of a boxer to be getting knocked down by Francis Ngannou. And look, whether he underestimated Francis Ngannou or not, he got knocked down by Ngannou. And the thing is, I think that fight was ultimately good for Tyson Fury, because I think we're going to see him come into this fight in really good shape and incredibly hungry. And it's probably going to be the best he's looked in a while, maybe since the Wilder fights. So maybe Tyson Fury needed to get dropped in that fight in order to wake his ass up and come and give it his all in this USYK fight. As we said in the last couple videos, Tyson rises to the level of his opponents, and he cannot underestimate USYK an ounce here. Now let's talk about USYK getting knocked down. He got knocked down most recently in the Daniel Dubois fight, and it was a low blow shot. Now some people debate that it was a body shot, but regardless, it was below the belt, so that is classified as a low blow. Then I've seen all sorts of people saying that USYK had his shorts pulled up and it wasn't really a low blow, but when you look at the shot closely, you can tell it's friggin' right on his pubes. He gets punched in the pubes, basically. If you get punched in the pubes, that's a low blow, and it's going to feel like you pretty much got punched in your balls, just by your balls shaking as a byproduct and a ripple effect from getting punched there. And then he still got up and absolutely murked Daniel Dubois. Did I say Dubois before? Daniel Dubois. And he beat him with a jab. We done a breakdown on that the other day. USYK is so smart as a fighter. And then he also got slightly hurt in the Anthony Joshua fight. He took a hard hit on the chin, but he took the shot and then came back in the next round and absolutely put it on AJ. So in terms of who gets hurt easier, just going by the numbers, this is not subjective whatsoever. This is the complete objective truth. Tyson Fury seems to get hurt easier than Usyk does, for the simple fact that he's been dropped 7 times. So we're going to give a point to Usyk there. It's now 3-2 to Usyk. Quite close. Who is going to win this fight? And guys, if I miss any metrics that I should have considered, feel free to pop them down below, because I kind of like this system. It might be flawed, whatever. There's so much that you can't really account for. We're just trying to drum up the best prediction possible with the facts that are right in front of our face. But until those fighters step in the ring tomorrow, no one's going to have a friggin' clue what is going to go down. Next, let's talk about the old chin. Who's got the best chin? Who can take a punch the best? Well, it's quite simple, really. If we go off how many times each fighter has been knocked down, we've got to give this one to Usyk, of course. Now, not to say that Tyson Fury doesn't have a chin, because he certainly does. If Usyk would have taken the same shots that Tyson Fury had taken, would he have been able to have got up from them Wilder punches, from that Francis Ngannou left hook? Maybe not. We don't know, because Usyk's chin hasn't been tested as much as Fury's has. But until he gets clipped in the same way that Tyson Fury is being clipped, we can't really say much about it. It is so hard to hit Usyk, let alone hit him clean. So regardless, Usyk doesn't really get hit. And when he does get hit, he's shown to have a chin. Tyson Fury also has a really, really good chin, but we can't give this point to Tyson Fury just because he's being cracked more and dropped more and got up from it, because we know the more shots that you take and the more times that you get knocked down and your brain smashes against your skull, the faster your chin dwindles. Your ability to take a shot decreases every single time that you get rocked, and Tyson Fury's being rocked more times than Usyk has. Is this a little bit of mental gymnastics? Not really. It's the facts. So I'm going to give another point to Usyk for having a better chin, simply by the fact that he hasn't been hit as much, and Tyson Fury has been rocked too many times and dropped too many times. Tyson Fury could come into this fight, throw a quick little jab at Usyk, and he gets knocked down or knocked out. We really just don't know. We've only got these two fighters' history to go off. Next, let's talk about one of the biggest factors. It's going to be cardio and endurance. Tyson Fury has got incredible cardio and endurance. When was the last time that we seen Tyson struggle cardio-wise in a fight? He never looks tired. He always looks switched on. He looks twitchy in his fights. His cardio looked pretty decent in the Francis Ngannou fight. He was winning the last few rounds of the Francis Ngannou fight. However, that being said, Usyk does not slow down whatsoever in his fights. Usyk's output increases as the fight goes on. I've kind of been saying that Usyk's almost like the Max Holloway of the boxing heavyweight division. As the fight goes, he throws more shots. And this, once again, is not something subjective. This is the objective truth, and we'll get into that in a second. And the thing is he has to fight that way because he's the smaller man. He hasn't got the power, so he has to accumulate shots on his opponent. He has to win by attrition, and I can guarantee that he's training 15 3 to 5 minute rounds in preparation for this fight, because he said he was doing that in preparation for the Anthony Joshua rematch. And Anthony Joshua isn't exactly known for his cardio, although in that fight against Usyk, Anthony Joshua's cardio looked pretty decent. Anthony Joshua's cardio is most likely nowhere near as good as Tyson Fury's, and Usyk understands this, so I can guarantee that he is going to be training even harder for this Tyson Fury fight to make sure that his cardio and endurance is absolutely off the scales, more so than it was in the Anthony Joshua fight. It's also being reported that Usyk is a great swimmer and he can hold his breath for up to 4 minutes. Not that that helps with his boxing ability, but it certainly tells us a lot about his endurance and his lung capacity. So in this fight, I don't see Tyson Fury getting tired, but I can't see Tyson matching Usyk's output for the full duration of the fight. I can see him looking really good in the first half of the fight, but then as we get to round 7, round 8, round 9, I think Usyk is just slowly going to start putting his foot on the pedal. As I say, I don't think Tyson's going to get tired. I just don't think he's going to be able to match Usyk. So in terms of cardio and endurance, I'm going to have to give another point to Usyk. It's now 5-2 to Usyk. Next, let's talk about punch volume. Now, rather than me giving the stats, let me show you this really good video from this YouTube channel, Boxing Science.
Will Usyk's incredible work rate be too much for Fury? Let's analyze the data.
Okay, so we've talked about the supreme punch output from Usyk, one of the highest in the heavyweight division. What's most impressive about this is how he works through the gears and punches more towards the back end of the fight. And also there's a variation, especially towards the mid to late rounds. This helps Usyk conserve energy more, but also look to dominate rounds. Very interesting bit here is that he actually takes a dip in round 9. This decreased output helps Usyk push on for the later rounds, where he increases his output on average by 25%. And in the Joshua rematch, after having that bad round in round 9 where he got caught and backed up to the ropes, he come back stronger. He threw an incredible 95 punches in round 10. When you compare this to Tyson Fury's trend, his trend is very flat.
So great video there by Boxing Science, good channel. So let's keep it paused here. If you take a look at Fury's punch volume here, so it's kind of like a flat line. There's not too much variation. And then after round 9, Fury actually starts punching less. Usyk takes that round 9 off, so then he can just go crazy with the volume. And if these stats hold up in this fight with Usyk and Tyson Fury, then it's not going to look good for Tyson Fury in the last 3 rounds because Usyk is just going to land more punches. So if Fury can't get Usyk out of there in the first 8-ish rounds, I can't see Tyson Fury outpointing Usyk. Just once again, by the stats, the facts and the figures, punches thrown, Usyk throws more. So in terms of punch volume, that point goes to Usyk. It's now 6-2 to Usyk. He's walking away with it. Next, let's just briefly talk about pure boxing skill and movement. Now, this can be a little bit subjective because I know there's people who are going to completely disagree with me here. We're never all going to agree. We're never all going to have the same opinion. And that's what some of you lads need to fucking understand. Some of you get so angry that other people have a different opinion to you. Relax. How old are you? 14. That's life. Wait until you grow up and you realise everyone doesn't think like you. However, that is the old, wise, mature boomer in me talking. I honestly believe, and this is coming from a Tyson Fury fan, someone who wants Tyson Fury to win, that Usyk has got better boxing skills. Let's say pure boxing skills and movement than Tyson Fury. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who say, how are you going to say that Usyk's got better movement than Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury has got incredible movement, and that is not what I'm saying. Once again, don't jump to conclusions and put words in my mouth. These two fighters are the best movers in the heavyweight division right now. However, when you combine Usyk's movement with the pressure that he fights with, and that Soviet style, the bouncing in and out, and the way he pivots and slips jabs and gets in on the inside, I honestly don't think you can debate it. Usyk's movement is such top tier. If you want to split hairs a little bit more, you could say Usyk's movement on the front foot is better than Tyson Fury's, but Tyson Fury's movement on the back foot is better than Usyk's. But anyway, my opinion is I believe pure boxing skills and movement, we've got to give that point to Usyk. I am, at least anyway. It's my YouTube channel. If you want to do this, start your own YouTube channel then. Right now, this is an interesting one. The ability to make the fight dirty. We're not going to spend too much time on this one. Of course, it's going to be Tyson Fury who gets this. I think Usyk is the more technical boxer. He's better at the pure boxing skills. Tyson Fury is obviously also an incredible boxer. Once again, I'm not saying he's not, but the ability to make the fight dirty and gritty and use those borderline dirty tactics. I'm not saying Tyson Fury's a dirty fighter. I'm just saying, like, the ability to hold on to his opponent, use his weight to overpower his opponent. I think that could be a big factor in this fight because of the massive size difference. Once again, I don't think the size is going to matter too much, but I think it's just another feather under Fury's cap for him to use. If Fury's going to win this fight, I believe that's going to be a big factor in it. He's not going to be able to outbox Usyk. Maybe he will, but judging by all these stats and the figures and my personal opinion, I just can't see it happening. Usyk is too smart and too good with the movement. So I think Fury's key to victory is making the fight gritty, making it dirty, getting in Usyk's face, putting that pressure on Usyk. Don't let Usyk breathe. But in order to do that, Tyson Fury's cardio endurance is going to have to be off the charts, better than it ever has been, because it takes a lot of energy to do that. But the ability to make the fight dirty, we're going to give a point to Tyson Fury there. Next, let's talk about heart and grit and determination, like we said before. I think this is a safe opinion to say that Fury has got the heart and the grit advantage due to the fact that he never accepts defeat. He's been knocked down 7 times. And he gets up every single time, comes back and wins the fight. How can you not say that the man does not have heart and grit? The man is made of something else. God is on his side. However, we do have to say that about Fury because we've never really seen Usyk be tested in the same way as Tyson Fury. And maybe in this fight, Tyson Fury will drop Usyk and Usyk's heart will have to be tested more. Something I would love to see. I would love this fight to be a back and forth scrap. So we're going to give that point to Fury. He's got the heart, he's got the grit, it's undebatable. Usyk hasn't been tested in that manner just yet. And they're all the metrics that we're going to cover. So really, judging by the facts and the figures in terms of who's got the most advantages, we have to kind of go with Usyk. This is just my little system I've created over the last 3 days, and I might use this system going forward for the super big fights. But a basic summary and getting deep into my prediction: if Fury can't knock out or even knock down Usyk, I believe he loses the fight on the scorecards. My prediction was initially going to be Tyson Fury. If you go back and watch me Tyson Fury breakdown video the other day, you can see that I was biasing a little bit towards Tyson Fury, but I don't know. After watching a lot more Usyk footage and then looking at all the stats, it's really, really difficult to bet against the man. It's hard to bet against Tyson Fury as well, but just when you look at the pure stats, the facts and figures, it is difficult to ignore all those statistics. I can't really see a world where Tyson Fury outpoints Usyk, especially in those later rounds. The only way that Tyson Fury outpoints Usyk on the scorecards is if he gets the knockdowns first in order to wobble Usyk, and then he can start piecing him up. So he needs to really knock Usyk's equilibrium, get Usyk a little bit all over the place, and then Tyson Fury can go to work. Can I see Tyson Fury KO Usyk? Usyk is that hard to hit? I don't think so, you know. And Tyson Fury hasn't got crazy power. Now, there is a big size difference, so I do think that power accentuated slightly. But then is he going to still have that same power because he's looking a little bit leaner, a little bit slimmer, a little bit lighter than he did in his previous fights? Tyson Fury, that is. I honestly don't know, but unless Tyson Fury rocks Usyk, I believe it'll just be a slow picking apart of Tyson Fury. And I don't believe Usyk is going to pick apart Tyson Fury in a damaging way, because Fury's movement and defense is still super good. Dare I say, I kind of see in it a little bit of a boring technical fight. I don't want to say boring really, because I do think this is going to be fairly exciting. There's a lot at stake here. But yeah, I just think this is going to be a bit of a technical fight where Usyk just slowly edges ahead of Fury and wins a decision. The fight might actually even be close in like the first 6 rounds, and then Usyk just slowly takes over in the latter half of the fight. My personal opinion and what I'd like to see, I would really like Tyson Fury to win. Tyson Fury gets the clicks. Usyk doesn't really get the clicks. He doesn't get the views. Tyson Fury is a bigger name, and we're from the same country, of course, so I've got to support my fellow countryman. So I'm kind of going to be rooting for Tyson Fury. My heart says Fury, but my brain is leaning towards Usyk. If I picked Tyson Fury to win this fight in my official prediction, I'd feel off about it. I wouldn't feel easy. Now that I'm choosing Usyk, I feel a little bit more at ease, that I'm going with me gut. Now, as always, I might be completely wrong. I'm new to boxing, I'm an MMA guy, and I do believe this is one of the hardest fights to pick in a very long time. Am I wrong in saying that? And guys, leave all your predictions below. We're going live for the fight tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. If you're subscribed, then turn on the notification bell next to the subscribe button, and you'll get notified when we go live. Join the stream, let's have a little bit of a chill together. I'm going to have some chocolates and crisps handy, going to have a little bit of a laugh, and let's see how the hell this fight goes down. Going to be good. Appreciate you all rocking with me. See you tomorrow for the live stream. Peace out.